particularly if you describe what the problem is well. It doesn't particularly help me. You send me a message saying, I'm having difficulty, and then that's it. I then have to write back to you and say, well, what is your difficulty? Oh, it's with the assignment. Well, what about the assignment? Try and give a fairly detailed sort of comment on what your problem is. Ideally with, say, if it's something that you're running in your code, send me the code. Send me some screenshots of what's sort of happening, and then I can sort of respond to you a bit better. If it's something that you can't get installed, I can point you to where you might be able to sort of get all the software and how to sort of get it put in. I'll certainly one out to the this last time I sort of had 5 or 6 emails with over the weekend about setting stuff up. Are you confident you can do well? Yeah, fairly confident there for the red ones. People are hedging the bets a bit there, I think. I think in general people will do well in this unit. We do tend to get somewhere in the upper 2 ones as a sort of average mark for this sort of module. So people there very much sort of either very confident or fairly confident they're going to do well. Again, those who are not confident, just encourage you to please get in contact. Tell us what your worries are, then you can sort of try and drag you kicking and screaming through for it. Quite a bit of free text feedback. I won't sort of cite, well, we didn't know who sort of said what. I try to avoid specific comments as well for it, but I've tried to group them together into common comments with sort of roughly how many people said things about it. As I say, have this anonymous feedback thing for the remainder of the module. I'm surprised it's not there, maybe I've just forgot to tick make it visible. Where you can just put any comment or request out. I'll check it regularly to get that, and the more information you can supply, the better the response it is. Rather than just saying, I hate this module, that, okay, gets it off your chest, but it doesn't really enable us to do anything about it. Then, give us a bit of reasoning with it. And because it's anonymous, please keep it factual, keep it reasonably polite. Something like that. You don't want to rub people's backs up from it constructive. Some of the best things that people were sort of saying, the best things about the module, the numbers in brackets are just how many people mentioned something to do with that area for it. As I say, teaching seemed to go through okay. 1 or 2 just saying it's good that the videos were available to it, liking new technologies. I won't say, I mean, there's not, obviously there's just 1 or 2 comments in some cases. The help being available anytime was seemed to be a running theme through sort of quite a few of them. Now, some people saying that the module's easy, some people put it as a good thing, some people put it as a bad thing. But some people like it being an easy module for you to get through, and some I like it to be a bit more sort of difficult. Because I do appreciate that people may well have come across this thing on your placement, but it's something that we need to get through on the sort of syllabus. In terms of getting things, in terms of what could be improved, but the most common one was labs going too fast. But that is true. Particularly at the start of the year, you get hit with it a lot more than you do later on in the term. At the start of the year, you're all sort of keen, you're just sort of coming back, you're determined to sort of do well, so we can effectively, it's a bit of a psychological thing, we can load you up with more at the start and say, because you're all keen and you're eager to sort of get in there for it. And then over the term, we can sort of lengthen those sort of things out a bit. So, yeah, it was a case that the labs did have a lot in there. There's say sort of 5 or 6 exercises or something to plough them, certainly more than you can get through in 2 hours. That's to both sort of stretch you outside and that idea of stretching you with extension sort of sessions to it. The labs are going to be shorter now, though. Definitely something that you can get done in that time available, and also devoting some future lab sessions for assignment help for it. taken on board, there was a few sort of comments generally about things, either software or hardware or material. It was a bit sort of hard to decide what people sort of meant about unreliable things in the software sort of working. Some of that was from things like setup of individual installations, certainly the Eclipse versions, Tomcat versions, JRE versions across different devices, where we've got people installing multiple versions of software for the, there's several versions of Eclipse, several versions of Tomcat, different versions of the JRE to it, but that's part of your job anyway, to actually get these things configured together. It'd be nice if we could have everything working perfectly all the time, but that's not a particularly real situation either. Generally, that's one of the things you're paid for, is to go in and know what to tweak and what to set in the configuration to get things up and running to it. Certainly that sort of things with the JRE versions, and it's certainly the case where people are installing on individual machines. So I've tried to tell people in the lab sessions there about what to tweak to get these sort of things running okay, and giving a bit of extra documentation such as how to set up Tomcat on your own machine, or how to set up sort of Eclipse. Again, any sort of extra things needed will be useful there. One comment that I just sort of thought, putting up there, what could be improved, and just said everything. Again, great to get off your chest. Not particularly constructive in terms of, well, what do you mean, what specific things it could do? A bit more sort of feedback there, and that's where, again, sort of perhaps the anonymous feedback section may be able to help to it. But just saying, that's a bit nihilist approach, I hate everything in life or something like that, the world's against me. I mean, but it might just be frustration that, I don't want to sort of belittle it too much, but it could be just frustration at saying I don't seem to be understanding everything. Everything seems to be going sort of wrong, either about this module or about the course. Question about exams and programming. Somebody sort of said, why are we doing an exam in programming? You're not going to be asked to write any code in the exam. It's more based on the theory. Probably more to do with the second term thing. There'll be at least one question from the first term, but most will be on the second term's work. So no coding applications to actually write in an exam. If you just have a look at some of the previous exams, you'll see what the general sort of format is and what the typical solutions are as well for it. So hopefully we can do something about each one of those, or if individuals can give a bit extra as to what they feel's going on in there. So that feedback, there we go, sorry, there was one or two more there, forgotten there. Like some people saying it was great that the labs and lectures were easy for them. Others saying, yeah, a bit too trivial to do. So perhaps there, as I mentioned, to come and chat about where you think your assignment's going, and I'll sort of indicate when I think you're likely to get something for it. One comment, I think there might have been two, about some felt that the lab help was a bit unfair. I seem to approach the same people every week. Yeah, it is difficult to decide who to sort of go to when I sort of help somebody, and then you look up and it might well just be the next person next to you, because it's sort of easy to sort of get to. I'll try to look around the lab a bit more and encourage some sort of feedback on that. I'll try to try and identify people who don't often ask for as much sort of help, rather than perhaps sort of go into the same ones each time for it. Just an admin thing there. Lab files and solution files named badly. Be nice if perhaps the actual solutions were labelled solutions to it. Because I would indicate in the labs where they are solutions, but I'll name them better. And some people say, well, perhaps they're a bit supplied too early. They'd rather, to avoid the temptation to sort of perhaps give them out at the end of the week or something like that after they've sort of done them. Although the reason I often sort of put them out there is just when you're stuck on one tiny part of it, you don't necessarily want to have to wait 5 days if you're sort of out on your own. So what I'll probably do is just name them still, so they're obvious what they are, and leave it still to your own decision whether or not to take a peek at where things are going. And comment on the assessment deadline being a bit early there. I can't change that, there's nothing I can do over it. The assessments are fixed some point last May. We don't have any say in it. Although you might take some benefit or some sort of sympathy with by saying that the assignment's actually one of the last handed in term one, and that it is actually in the new year, where it's quite a lot during this sort of term. But unfortunately, that's one of the things that I can't do anything about. But that's just fixing. And I think they weren't necessarily complaining. They were just saying, just to get something to get off their chest for it. So yeah, so that thing's available if you want to sort of digest and give some feedback on the feedback of the feedback. That thing's available just on there. I'm still a bit surprised as to where the anonymous feedback link went. Anyway, this week.